Okay, fam, listen up. I'm doing the bald look again, aren't I? So I just had my meeting with my independent study director, and it was amazing. Like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It literally just ended, so I'm like processing it all. We talked for like an hour and a half. Okay. So first of all, I just want to say, like, I was pretty nervous getting assigned to an independent director. I've loved all of my professors at Harvard, all the faculty members I've met so far and had so far and were taught. Like, I haven't had a single creative writing professor that I thought didn't connect with what I was trying to do. But I was still kind of nervous because I was afraid, like, what if I get somebody who we have different ideas? I don't know. But, oh my god, she's like perfect. Like, oh my god, she's like absolutely perfect. I hope she never sees this. I'll be really embarrassed, but I feel like we connected so much with what, just like her understanding what I was trying to say. And like, I'm not gonna get into that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, focus. Sorry. I have to say this, I've said this before, whenever I really dive deep into my story, thinking about what I'm trying to say, the theme, the big picture, and I talk to someone about it, I always feel so drained afterwards, like I've just like relinquished my soul and now it's back and I'm like just so scatterbrained. But so she read over my opening chapters that I have right now, and she also read an alternate one I sent her just a few days ago, just because I was like, I don't know which is better. And she saw into how chaotic my mind is about all of this, what you guys have been watching. Oh my gosh, what am I even trying to say right now? And so we just talked, like we talked about what I'm trying to say with my story. We talked about what I should be focusing on for an opening chapter. So I just wanted to kind of go over some important notes that I took during our conversation, because one thing she really said to me that I think is going to really stick with me, and she said this is something that she has been, so she's also writing a young adult book, and she's also currently revising, and she's also currently focusing on POV and editing. So we're like together in this together, though. I'm sure her novel is much more polished than mine is. Let me back up. So one of the things I said to her, because we were talking about different possibilities, and I said, you know, a lot of times people, they have the problem that they can't think of an idea, but my problem in many areas of life isn't that I don't have an idea, it's I have too many ideas and I don't know which one to go with. I don't know which path is going to be best. And so she said that she completely related, and she has the same problem. She said to not focus on the value it has, so what value each chapter has, but to focus on what each option is missing, because there are certain elements that you need in that first chapter. And need is like obviously a subjective word. This is creative writing, so I'm sure everyone can think of 1,000 examples that don't have these things, but you know, the first chapter needs to focus on the primary characters, and what is defining their life now, what is their story right before this inciting incident drops. And so, you know, I think on my chapter options that I have now, let me walk you through a little bit where I am. So version 1, I start the story with my main characters meeting each other. So it's kind of like a happenstance meeting that's super strange. I'll just say what it is. So one character is at this college party and she's seemingly a normal girl, but then all of a sudden a door knocks, somebody asks for her, and there is a television crew like right there. It sounds stupid when I'm explaining it. Oh my god, I'm so self-conscious. But so that was the story that the version that I kind of first had in mind, because I just liked the jarring nature of it. But it didn't tell you anything about the backstory. It didn't get you hooked on the characters. Versus version 2, what I tried to do was kind of do a little bit more of that, like open you up to the character more open you up to the characters more quickly while introducing the inciting incident, the plot point, later in the chapter, so not having it be so in your face. I'm explaining this horribly. The example she gave was, she actually gave 2 examples because I admitted to her I had never read Jurassic Park. So with Jurassic Park, the book, Michael Crichton, he likes to open with, I wish I knew the literary term for this. This is when my need for a creative writing education becomes evident. He opens with kind of the mystery of it. Think also, if you've read Dan Brown, this is something he heavily does. He opens with the mystery. So I haven't read Jurassic Park, but from kind of how she was explaining it, sorry, I'm like blabbering, is opening with this mysterious amusement park. I don't know if he mentions the dinosaurs then, but opening with the idea, the element, in my case, the crystal skull. This is the analogy she was using. Opening with the crystal skull mystery. Versus the movie Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg does a better job at opening with the character. So you open, I don't know how Jurassic Park starts, but I assume it opens with the main character and we learn a little bit about the main character's personal story. Maybe they're going through like a career crisis. I clearly haven't seen the movie Jurassic Park in a long time, so I have no idea how it opens. But it doesn't open with that plot device. It doesn't open with the crystal skull. And then when I told her I hadn't seen Jurassic Park, this is how I knew that this partnership, well, it's not really a partnership, she's helping me, this mentorship was meant to be. What have I been obsessed unhealthily with talking about all year that doesn't make me literarily cultured? That's not a word. Twilight. She's like, well, have you seen, and she kind of gave a look. She's like, okay, have you read Twilight? And I was like, is it that evident that I've read Twilight? But no, I was like, oh my god, that's like all I've been thinking about, because I was always so drawn to how Twilight opened, because it's like I just feel Stephenie Meyer, as much as you may not like Twilight, you may not like her writing, you can't deny that she has a hook on all of her novels. The first chapter she's phenomenal at, and it's because she does what my director says, and she opens with the character. And so even though all of her books have this incredible crystal skull, this mystery, this hook driving force, you still open with the character so you care. In Twilight, like she compared, Edward is the crystal skull, so Edward's a vampire. A vampire plot is really interesting, it's exciting, but she doesn't mention vampires at all until like the 2nd or 3rd chapter. I don't think she actually even writes the word vampire until like the 5th chapter. No, she opens with Bella. She opens with the story of this girl who's moving with her dad, who is missing her hometown because she's selfless and she wants to help her mom, and so you care about her. And I think that's something that's really been missing from my story. And in like my video where I talked about what's wrong with my book, I mentioned I thought it was too plot heavy. And this is like a perfect refocusing fix of, I need to open with my character. So as soon as she was kind of like saying that is something I should focus on in my first, like after this meeting, what I should focus on before our next meeting is giving my first chapter more character story. I just completely agreed. I hope this made sense. As always, my professor explained it, or in this case my director explained it way more eloquently than I did. I like botch all of what my professors say just because my mind is just not as wonderful as theirs. But in my head it makes sense. I know what I'm trying to say, I'm just not good at saying it. But it just made total sense to me. Like, I need to focus on the Bella. I've been too focused on the Edward, and I need to focus on the Bella. That's what I'm trying to say. I promise my end of the semester wrap up is gonna make way more sense, and I'm gonna circle back to all my ideas in a much more meaningful way. I'm just excited. When I'm excited, I don't make sense. I just can't form words. I just ramble. Anyway, I wish you guys just could watch like my class sessions and my discussion discussion sessions because I feel like they are so valuable. Like I wish I could just upload the recordings of them. But anyway, I cannot do that. So where this leads us for the semester, I kind of wanted to talk briefly, more specifically about my fall goals. And I feel more optimistic now than ever actually about this, which is really exciting. One thing, I am determined in a more serious way than I've ever felt. I want to be done with my rewrites by the end of the year. And I've said that before and I've meant it every time, but like I think in the back of my mind was always nervous that it was overly ambitious to say. And I do think it is ambitious to say, but I really, really want it. I need it. I'm hoping that before my next session, which will be probably like mid-October, with my director, I can have the first 3 opening chapters done. The rewrites done, I mean. It's so weird to feel like you're close to something when you don't know where the finish line is. You can't say for certain what that thing that you're close to is, which in my case is like the heart of my story that's going to pull it all together. But I feel like I'm so close to figuring it out. Something I've really struggled with is focusing on which main character do I want, like whose story is this? That's something all my classes have asked. Whose story is this? And that's a question that I've really struggled with. And so that's kind of my focus for our next meeting too, is just for once and for all deciding whose story is this? And so she's given me some great resources to read as inspiration, just to kind of see like how other writers have handled the multiple point of view thing. I don't know, I feel like this is the first time I've had somebody one-on-one that, obviously I know she's not a partner because like she's my director. I'm not giving her any advice, and I certainly hope I wouldn't, because what do I know? But this is like my first one-on-one experience I've had, and I just am so touched and inspired with just knowing how valuable this is going to be, especially because I feel like I've gotten somebody that really gets what I'm trying to say, even though I say it horribly, which is like a gift. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say, consider yourselves very intelligent, because sometimes I don't even know what I'm trying to say. One thing that she asked me sort of near the beginning of when we started talking that really like made me feel a lot of motivation and hope again. Not that I didn't have hope, but just like feeling that fire again was, because I mentioned like I've been kind of writing on things here and there since like middle school, basically. Like, you know, I've got so many first chapters saved on my computer of books that I've just stopped working on. But this is different. And she was like, what is it about this story that keeps you going? Like, why? Not even keeps you going, but she's like, I know sometimes it can be hard when you're not feeling motivated and you feel like you have to push yourself, when all you want to do is watch Netflix. You know, and do you feel that way or whatever? And I said, honestly, like some days are hard to write and plenty of days I don't write, but I've never felt like the desire to finish this has never been there. And I was like, there's just something about this story, and I don't know if it's just the theme of what I'm trying to say or if I've just fallen in love with the characters, but I just know I'm never gonna give up on this story. I'm never going to shelf it and start something new before finishing it. I'm not saying like I will stick with querying it out before an agent accepts it before writing another novel. Like, I'm perfectly fine with the idea of working on it as much as I can. Agents don't pick it up. Okay, I'm gonna start something else to try and get an agent. Like, that's fine. Or not fine, but like I'm fine with doing that. But I know I'm not gonna finish this one. Like, it's this feeling. And like, that's sort of the feeling I have about this semester and like about her as my director. Like, I have this feeling that it's just like, just everything she was saying in regards to feedback for me was clicking. And it's just given me such a strong, like, motivation's not even the word. It's this weird sense of knowing this is it. Like, this is the semester that I'm really gonna get it. Okay. I have to stop though because I'm feeling so drained. This video, I am so sorry. I know it made like no sense. This is my raw reaction to finishing. I did not think about what I was gonna say. I literally stopped my class, ran in here, turned on the camera after like talking to Zach for a couple minutes about how my conversation with her went. But I'm so excited. I had to share it with you guys. I hope there was some nuggets of good information in there or whatever. If not, I'm sorry. Maybe I won't upload it then, I don't know. But I just wanted to share my reaction because if you've been wondering if it's worth it to get a critique partner, not that she's my critique partner, like I said, I'm not touching her much better novel, like not doing that, but if you've been wondering if you should open up and start sharing with a friend, a loved one, your book, just to bounce ideas off of, like that's something I learned with Zach even. Like Zach doesn't write creatively, but I've started to open up to him about my story. I recommend it. I understand with your first draft maybe not wanting to do that, but if you are in the revising stage, or even if you are like halfway through your first draft and you just feel stuck and you're not moving forward, but you want to keep moving forward, like your heart is still there, but you feel stuck with something, open up. Like, even if it's just in the comments of this video, like if you want to bounce ideas off of me, like I will happily respond to those comments, to those ideas, the best I can without having read it, of course. But I'm seeing such more of an understanding, and even though I've had workshops before, and like I think I just kind of forgot the value of it. And having one person too, like instead of a whole classroom full of ideas where some people have conflicting ideas, so you still feel like you have to be the driving force of like what's right and what's wrong. Not that I'm not with a one-on-one, but it's different when you have somebody focusing all of their attention on your story and they're that one voice, and everything feels clearer. Even though like after talking with her I have 1,000 more ideas on what I should do, it feels like I'm finally, she was saying like on her perspective, because she's finally starting to hone in on it, she's like, I can see the horizon. And that's how I feel. Like even though I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, I see the direction of the horizon of like what it is I should be looking for now, and what it is I want readers to get out of my first chapter and to get out of the point of view I want to offer. That's kind of what I wanted to say. I feel really optimistic about that, and I'm really excited about that. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in my next video. I hope this video wasn't a garbage pile. It might have been. That's okay. It felt good to say it. Not garbage, but just... Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm doing the thing. I gotta stop. Good night. Bye, everybody.